cover a broad scope of things that then you can start digesting and digging deeper into. So today's how to take over a neighborhood, or how to target and take over any neighborhood like a ninja, right? When you think about a ninja, man, they're pretty stealthy. Nobody knows they're coming until it's all said and done and they're there. So, you know, maybe you can, but your competition won't see you, but you're going to pop up as being the dominant person in whatever target area you want to get into. So we're going to talk about the strategies to take over any neighborhood. Step one, pick your target, right? So you would typically look for areas that have a high turnover rate. You can research online through different tools to analyze the home sales data to find the neighborhoods, communities, subdivisions, whatever it is, the communities that you want to target. And what you want to look for is ones that have an above average number of homes sold per year, right? So we want an above average number of homes sold per year in that particular target area that represents more opportunity than those with less transactions occurring per year. So we can find the number of homes in a particular target area. Then we can find the number of sales in that target area annually. We can also, and I would suggest, find out who has the market share in those areas to ensure that there is room for you to capture some. You know, if somebody is just the 500-pound gorilla in a particular neighborhood and they have 95% of the market share, is it worth investing the time and the resources to try to get that 5%? It's going to be a fight. You might be able to get it. But if there's another area where the dominant agent has 50% market share and the other 50% is wide open, spread amongst a number of amateur agents, then that's an area where there's definitely room for me to gobble up side by side against probably not so stellar, competitors. I mean, I can probably outperform some of the competitors and capture a larger share of the market in that particular area. Again, I'm choosing to spend the time in these neighborhoods because there's a certain number of transactions occurring within them each year, which warrants me to spend time, right? I'm adding a few people into the call as they jump in, so that's why I keep switching to the wrong slide. So first thing, pick your target, and that's what we're going to pick it based on. The next thing that I would suggest that you do is create an information funnel. It funnels you in information related to, relevant to the particular target area. This becomes my library for content to create. It becomes the juice when I'm making a call to a nurturer and I've talked to them 3 or 4 times and I don't just want to say, are you ready to meet yet? Right? This information funnel will give you subject matter to create a conversation around. So the first thing I would do is I'd go to Google Alerts. I'd create Google Alerts using keywords that are relevant to the target area that you're wanting to become the dominant agent or the ninja in. I'd create a folder within your inbox to filter those alerts so that you can keep them all in one place. Man, I got to fix this slide. That's cut off there. What that says, and I'll fix it when I upload it, but it's search your alerts routinely to find relevant content so that you can incorporate that. Searching your alerts routinely means, like once a week, likely. I would start there, depending on how much stuff you have coming in. It's, stuff for me comes in on a daily basis, but I kind of just look at the headlines usually and delete the ones I know that aren't relevant to me. And then on the weekends, I would kind of scan through that folder and find any topics that I think are good to create content around or, share with anybody that I might be on the phone with. The next I would incorporate the best of those alerts. So over time, you'll compile a pretty large database of subject matter. Again, remember, related to the target area. I would incorporate the best of those into your targeted neighborhood campaign strategy. So that would include any nurture plans. So if I was to capture a nurture through prospecting in that target area, the best of out of my content folder, my Google Alert folder, would be part of the nurture plan that those individuals would receive over time. That Google Alert folder would help me create content, white papers, mailers, any kind of marketing material that I'm searching for a subject. That folder would become the incubator for that. You can use the content that compiles in that folder for podcasts, blogs, your neighborhood expert videos. If you see a topic come through that Google Alert that hits home with people in the area, that's a great time to record some video addressing that topic. So you can see where this information funnel will provide you the content that so many people have a hard time coming up with. Also, I'd purchase neighborhood URLs and create neighborhood newsfeed sites and blogs. So you can find the URLs relevant to your target area. You can purchase those. You can turn those into blog sites that host the content that's coming through your information funnel. And that's another good way to gain authority. Also, people searching online would, done right, come across those pages where you're able to capture them with your pixels or tracking codes and then retarget them. So that leads into create neighborhood Facebook pages. So if there's not already a Facebook page designed around the target area that you're focusing on, you can do that and then use your information funnel, all the information coming through the Google Alert, to create the content to deliver on that page. And then, as we mentioned, make sure to install the tracking codes on any of your sites, landing pages, etc., so that you can retarget them with your neighborhood campaigns. So that's your information funnel. That does a lot of work for you at creating the content that's going to be relevant to the people that are in your target area. That's how you're going to build trust and credibility and become the authority. So over time, you're the dominant person in that area. The next thing I would do is identify all the influencers in the community. So research online. Actually, this is incorrect there. But what I would do is I would research online in other areas to find who the influencers are. I'd use the influencers to target followers on Facebook and create personas as well. We would use influencers, to target followers on Facebook and create personas. So when I say create personas, we would take the influencers within a community, look at those individuals that they influence, those are potential clients for us, and create a persona around that potential client. So if our client likes to go eat at Al's Italian every Sunday and attends church at XYZ, start building out where else do they go? What else do they do? Having said that, where do they consume information? What other restaurants might they like? What does that mean about other habits or interests that they might have? So using your influencers, once you've identified them, will help you better fill out the persona for the potential client that you're trying to capture in that area. The second strategy would be to select 3 businesses in that process that could benefit your clientele, and approach those businesses and business owners about hosting a sit down potentially, so that you can introduce them to your client base where there's some alignment, and hopefully vice versa, you can be introduced to their client base or the people that follow them. Again, you've identified them as an influencer, so they should have a decent audience. The third strategy would be to feature the influencers on your neighborhood Facebook pages and newsletters. So we would also, in addition to creating the neighborhood Facebook pages, also consider creating neighborhood-centric newsletters that would feature your influencers.
It's wrong, but it's wrong.
And then strategy number 4, be sure to capture pictures in video with at least 10 influencers. And obviously you're going to use those in a lot of different ways, but it provides authority, it provides social proof, So while you're identifying and making those connections with the influencers in the target area, make sure that you capture pictures and video along with them. All right, so the next thing would then be to become the authority figure of the area. So strategy number one in an effort to do that would be to record informative and entertaining Facebook Live, YouTube, Instagram videos that are relevant to the target area. What are you going to talk about? You go back to your information funnel and you find stuff there that you think would be relevant to your audience. The second strategy would be create a best of seasons campaign featuring all the great things during each season in that particular target area, right? So this guarantees you 4 neighborhood content pieces right there. There being 4 seasons within the year. So if you created a seasonal best of for each season, you now have 4 assets that could be delivered as part of your nurture campaign. That could be something that you delivered to a larger general subscriber type of audience as well. The third strategy would be to create the neighborhood Facebook pages and use your information funnel to provide that content. We can retarget everybody who lands on all of these other pages that we've talked about with the information on those neighborhood pages and vice versa. Strategy number 4 would be to record local home sales news videos. So most, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of you probably have a market update of some sort that you use. It's something that you likely mail out once a month to clients, either email or mail maybe, but take it to the next level. And if it's centralized enough that you can extrapolate real information relevant to your target area, then take that report in hand, jump on a video, and start communicating that through just a short layman term video, right? Leave all the real estate terminology out of it and just talk to people in the neighborhood about the recent sales and the trends that are in the neighborhood. With that report right in hand, you're just the delivery of the news. And then strategy number 5 would be subscribe to your local market update provider so that you can do that. You know, you could take this even farther and you could do a ride-along, local ride-along type thing where you could visit properties or drive by properties that had just sold. You could visit properties that are currently on the market. You could feature one of your properties that happens to be on the market. But bringing people into that and bringing them along a journey definitely increases consumption, and it increases the brand awareness and the retention on the who and what you are. Strategy number 6 is actually that, record ride-along market updates. Strategy number 7 is record new business alerts highlighting new businesses and business owners in the area. So you can go to, here in Dallas, I could go to observer.com. It's a local guide that features new businesses that open. I can get in the newspaper, if you still get that, or online. There's a section where you can find that kind of stuff. You can just drive around the neighborhood doing your ride-along market updates and see new businesses. But find ways to record content that introduces those new businesses and business owners to the area. That helps you give them free advertising and build reciprocity on their end. It helps you turn them into influencers and educate the other people in the area of what's new, right? What's new and going on in the area. And it definitely it's making you the expert, making you the authority. If they see you over the course of the first quarter of the year talking about every new business that's opening, I would think if I want to know about what's going on, he or she sure knows. So strategy number 8 would be look for the trending topics within the area and find ways to talk about them. Right? Nothing real complex about that. Find the trending topics that are within your particular target area and find ways to talk about them. And then strategy 8 and strategy 9 and 10, which should be here. I was trying to get these slides done in a hurry as I was stepping out of a meeting, so I'll fix that. But the goal there is for you to fill in the blank. And print these out as a lot of you do and fill in the blank and come up with 2 other strategies on your own. So the next is going to be target your audience. So some suggestions would be to create age-based campaigns. If you're doing this on Facebook, for instance, instead of just targeting everybody from, let's say, 25 to 75, break it down into individual audiences and you'll have better penetration. So create 25 to 45 as an audience. Is there different content that a 25 to 45-year-old group would be interested in? Of course. Actually, that should be 25, yeah. And then this should be 45 to 65. And then 65 plus. And so the content you can understand would be different for those categories. So you can create real targeted campaigns based on that. Next would be to create the target audiences and lookalike audiences. So in Facebook, in Google, you can create your audiences, and you also have the ability in most cases to create lookalike audiences based on the characteristics of the audience you created. Next would be to upload and create customer audiences using your CSV files. So everybody has a database, or you should, and all of your contact records that you've compiled are in there. Many of them have email addresses. We should export that into a CSV file and turn around and upload that into a Facebook or a Google and create a custom audience out of it. Next, identify the neighborhood keywords for Google targeting. So put yourself in the position of somebody who lives in that neighborhood or who's wanting to move into that neighborhood, and think about what it is that they're looking at online and searching. What would they be searching? Your customer. You have your persona if you followed some of the things that we've talked about in the past. So you have your persona in hand. What's that person typing online? And identify what those keywords are so that you can start to target the people there in that neighborhood. Also create custom audiences using the followers of your influencers. You have a long list of influencers at this point. You have 10 that you've gotten pictures with. You've got 3 that you've approached to do sit downs. They have followers online. And so what we want to do is make sure that we target their followers as well. And if anytime possible, get them to share our content through their pages as well. So be sure and utilize the tracking codes on all your landing pages so that we can retarget. And also when you're creating your audiences, select interests and geographic information and other data points that you can use as criteria. So that's going to help you create your target audience. The next thing in making sure that you nail the Neighborhood Ninja strategy is social proof. And so what you want to do is capture video testimonials any chance you can with clients that you have happened to work with in the area. Capture video with the influencers that you have identified in the target area. Get your clients to share those testimonials on their pages. Get your client or get your influencers to share those videos on their pages. And strategy 4, participate and capture images and video featuring company branding while participating in events that make a positive impact on the community. A lot of us do that already, so find a way to share that into the target area, right? So what we're really talking about is finding opportunities where we can contribute in making a positive impact to that target area, and then make sure that we capture images and video with company branding while we're doing it. In the second to last pillar of this Neighborhood Ninja strategy is to consider hosting in-person events. So strategy 1, it's pretty simple, is collaborate with that list of influencers you have to host 2 events a year within the target neighborhood. Just 2 events a year within the target neighborhood. And I would have those events be informative and value-based for the target audience that you're trying to communicate with. Now on the second tier of the live events would be strategy 2, and that would be host 2 social events a year, leveraging your influencers and inviting past clients, friends of past clients, influencers, and potential clients that are interested in the area. That could be people that are tagged as nurtures, for instance, in your database. Or if you've segmented to the level where you know not only are they a nurture, but they're interested in this particular neighborhood, you know, I can pull up a tag that says Frisco Lakes and I can see anybody who's ever expressed interest in Frisco Lakes. Those are people that I would be inviting to these events. They're potential clients who are interested in the area. And the last pillar of this neighborhood ninja strategy, I saved it for the last. It's the best, but the last, and that is prospecting. So obtain the neighborhood data to target, to your target area. So get the names and telephone numbers and addresses and emails if possible for your target area, and start using that in circle dialing campaigns where we're just calling into the neighborhood with a message, something similar to, we expect a lot of interest in your particular neighborhood, and I was wondering if you knew anybody who had plans to sell. Of course, they're going to say no, and that's when you transition to, since I've got you on the phone, how about yourself? Have you considered making a move in the future? And we start capturing the emails so that we can create audience, and we start capturing those people that have plans to make a move in the future. Probably not right now. Make just sold dialing campaigns using recent sales of either your own or others into the target area. So if I just sold 123 Main Street, we all know that we can make a call saying, I'm reaching out to folks because we just recently sold 123 Main Street. It's down the road from you. You know, when homes are priced right and staged correctly, they're flying off the market. That being said, we have some buyers that are still looking for properties in the area. You happen to know anybody who might have thoughts of making a move, something along those lines. But we can also take the people that have sold properties, other properties that we didn't represent. You know, there's a property that recently sold at 123 Main Street. Now, we didn't sell that property. If you wouldn't even have to say that. But my point is that there's a property at 123 Main Street that recently sold. It sold for a great price and quickly. This area is one where we expect to see a lot of interest. That's why I'm calling to get in touch with people who might be thinking about making a move in the near future. But the key there is it doesn't have to be your property. You can build the story of it's an area in demand. It could potentially be a great time to sell. Does this, you know, the recent environment could pique the curiosity of what your home might be worth. You can paint that picture using other sales as well. Be sure and capture the email addresses while making these phone calls. It's very easy to overlook that because not everybody is probably going to be somebody you would consider as an opportunity. Therefore, you might forego getting the email address. But just from creating an audience and a retargeting perspective, you should get that email address. Think about what it costs you if you're managing a pay-per-click campaign or you're managing the cost per click or anything like that of any campaigns. Think about what it costs you to get a subscriber and to get that email address. Right? I'd rather have it take place on these circle prospecting phone calls than have to pay a few bucks for it or whatever it might be online. So just that one reason alone should motivate you to start asking everybody for their email address. And then segment your database. I kind of mentioned it earlier. Use tags, use groups, whatever you have available to segment your database so that you can get at the individuals that are either in or have expressed interest in the particular target area that you've selected. And I doubled up on that one there. Let's see, I got my notes here. Let me let you see what that last one was, because I know that it was not supposed to be that. The last one was create automated neighborhood campaigns using neighborhood content. So what we would do there is leverage technology that you might have available, take all the information, the best of our alerts, take that best of content and build out your neighborhood campaigns. So it might look like when I talk to somebody who's interested in Frisco Lakes, they get dropped into a group called Frisco Lakes that triggers the content campaign that I've created relevant to people looking in Frisco Lakes. If somebody was looking to move into Stonebriar, I've got a Stonebriar campaign, and I drop them in that group, and that triggers my Stonebriar campaign. Again, all comprised of information that's relevant to them, including influencers, including exposés on the new businesses, including me delivering news about recent sales, all of that stuff, all made much easier by creating that information funnel. So a little bit longer than our 7 minutes, but because it is such good stuff. I mean, if you follow this, you will take over any niche or target area that you want to apply these tactics to. I'm 100% confident about that. So that being said, I'll open it up if anybody has any questions or comments on that. If anybody's using anything in addition to what we talked about, or if you're implementing some of the strategies that we just talked about and you've got some experience you can share with us, it'd be an awesome time to hear it.